Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to Adventure Daily. In today's broadcast, we're going to be talking more about the CRF300L and the infamous 5K rattle. This is an issue a lot of riders are facing, so I felt like it was worth mentioning. There are a lot of speculations as to what it could be, so let's hop on the bike and talk about it. Man, these handlebars feel good. Need to get those D-Sport tires on here soon. These things are like ice skates. That'll be fun. Definitely dress for it. But I don't want to waste any of your time. I know a lot of you that clicked on the video are probably here to find out why the heck your 300L or even 250L is making that noise at around 5,000 RPM. The pig that can fly. So let's go for a ride and talk about it. So right off the bat, I will tell you that I have noticed the rattle on my bike, but I didn't notice until after I read a comment about it. Somebody had left a comment on my reveal video asking if I had the 5K rattle on my bike, and I was like, what? 5K rattle? And sure enough, next time I went for a ride, I listened to around 5,000 RPM, and sure enough, I had a rattle. Now let me start off by saying there are two major kinds of people out there. People who tend to worry and people who don't really care as much. I try to lean on the side of not caring as much, so a small vibration like that really didn't bother me. Other than the noise, it really didn't do anything else. Woo! Swerve action on the old pig. So I really wasn't concerned, but it definitely was noticeable. I will tell you this though, I'm almost at 400 miles and the sound has pretty much gone away. So before I get too far into it, what do I think the rattle is? Well, a lot of people are speculating that it is the cam chain tensioner. And that is what the rattle reminded me of the most. I've had some older machines over the years, and especially my three-wheelers, they all made cam chain noise. So to me, that's what it sounded like, but on a very minor scale. I've heard people say that they think it's the slipper clutch, but I would kind of pull in the clutch at around 5,000 RPM and stay on the throttle, and I didn't really notice a difference, so that leads me to think that it's not anything to do with the clutch. There are an isolated group of people that have had cam chain tensioner failure, and I'm referring to the 250Ls. I haven't heard of any 300L failures yet, but I know there were a few cases, and specifically the earlier model 250Ls, of people having the tensioner fail on them. And those were just a few isolated cases that I've heard about. So percentage wise, I think it's a very, very low number in relation to how many 250Ls there are out there. So it's nothing that I ever worried about. I know many people who have well over 50,000 miles on stock everything and have had pretty much no issues. So I'll start off by saying that these bikes are known to be very reliable, and that's why I love them. I would not have bought the 300L if I didn't feel that way. I have full confidence that this will be a very reliable machine, and knowing my track record, this thing will probably never even see 10,000 miles. But on those first few rides after reading that comment, I definitely noticed the rattle. I'm not gonna lie, it bothered me a little bit. But when you have a helmet on and you're cruising at speed, the wind noise alone is enough to drown out any rattle for that matter. Smile for the camera. But I pretty much forgot about it, and the more that I rode it, the less that I heard it. And right now, I can't even get it to make that noise. See, we're sitting at right at 5,000 RPMs right now, and if I listen close, I don't hear anything. So I don't know how well you'll be able to hear that with the wind noise, but no rattle. The only rattle that I do hear is coming from the clutch lever. So maybe that's what some of you are hearing. Also, these bikes with the factory exhaust systems are super quiet. So any noise that you're gonna hear from the engine or the drivetrain is going to be accentuated compared to other bikes. So if it bothers you that much, just get an aftermarket exhaust. I mean, I've heard people go as far as to saying that they want to sell their bikes because it bothers them so much. And granted, theirs might be worse than mine, so I can't really say anything, but I feel like a lot of people out there are super OCD with stuff like that, and I don't blame them. If you're buying a brand new bike, you don't want to hear that kind of rattle. But for me, my perspective is, I know this isn't a top tier bike. This isn't their performance models that are made in Japan, and you're just not going to get that same kind of quality compared to their premium models. This is no Africa Twins. This is less than half of the cost, so I kind of expect some tolerances to be a bit looser and some things to be cheaply made here and there. But some people just don't see that as an excuse and are pretty upset about this. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this was a thing with the 250Ls and even the CB300s in the past, which is the same engine. So I don't know why I'm just hearing about it now. I guess it's more prevalent with the 300 engine, but you would think if it was something major, Honda would have fixed it by now. So although the noise may be annoying, I definitely don't think it's anything to worry about. A lot of people will say, myself included, it's a Honda. I mean, they're kind of known to make some noises here and there. Even their ATVs make a similar noise. I definitely think it's cam chain tensioner related. But hopefully, as you put some more miles on your bike, the noise will go away. If it bothers you a lot, just get an exhaust. The only real reason that I would be concerned is if it got significantly worse and or affected the performance of the bike. So far, I haven't heard of that happening. I've heard the opposite. Just like me, as you put more miles on, the sound goes away. But let me know down in the comments if you are a 250 or 300L owner and you've experienced this noise. Let me know what you think it is, and if it does bother you, why? Think I can wheelie this corner? I'd like to think so. Woo! I still got it. Yeah. But as you can hear in the excitement in my voice, I love riding this bike. It's smooth, it's peppy, and in my eyes, it is one of the best budget dual sports on the market out there. And yes, I say budget because if you compare it to the 450RL, I mean, that's over a few $1,000s difference. Ooh, I don't know. I think we're gonna have to try to wheelie both of these curves coming from the other direction. Let me know if you think I got it. I know there's some people out there that have faith in me. My left side is my bad side, so we'll get this out of the way first. Oh, I lost her. We gotta try that again. We'll take it, we'll take it. A little sloppy at the end there. I had this thing on like a 45-degree angle. That felt good though, for being as rusty as I am. But I guess I should be thankful that I don't have the rattle anymore. You would think though, if it was the tensioner, that as you rode it more, the sound would get worse. There are also a lot of people out there that think that it is something on the body that's making the vibration. I know there was somebody, I think it was a CBR owner, that had some rivets come loose in their dash, and that was making the noise. But at least in my case, and for the 300L, it was coming from the engine for sure. But I gotta say, this bike is so much more comfortable to ride now. I love the bend of these Tusk Chub handlebars. I'll go ahead and leave a tag on the screen now for that video. Go ahead and watch that. Go into the description and buy you this setup if you haven't already. With the integrated turn signals and the hand guards, it just looks super clean and it feels great. I love the Zeta mounts too. Keeps the handlebars super clean. I couldn't really find a reputable website that sells them anymore. I think CRFs only might have them, but I actually got mine off eBay. That is why I did not leave a link in that video, so you're gonna have to fend for yourself on those. I definitely recommend it though. Super solid setup. Everything is in perfect symmetry. Look at that. You can't tell me that doesn't look good. Got that Core Moto brake line coming soon. Get this droopy thing figured out. But it's looking like rain is coming my way, so we're gonna head back to the shop and finish this video. Well, we got back just in time. I literally pulled it into the garage and it started to rain. But I wanted to hop on the computer really quick and show you what people are talking about in the forums. So if you go ahead and search CRF300L Rattle, there are several people who have made videos about it already, and the first result is a Reddit post titled CRF300L 5K Rattle. Somebody says, I have it too. Seen it mentioned over at advrider.com too. I haven't seen anyone diagnose it. I hope someone came out with a solution to the issue soon. I love my bike, but that noise is making me crazy. There's actually 19 comments in this thread alone. I have this issue too. Mine will do it in all gears, right around 45 to 5,000 RPMs. I figured it might be the plastics or something, but haven't been able to figure it out. Okay, so I didn't notice this earlier, but somebody said my clutch lever rattled around that, and I just mentioned that earlier. Somebody says, I've noticed it even with my helmet on. It is spot on around 5K RPMs. Yes, it is loud. I am trying to avoid riding on those RPMs until I hear from someone how to fix it. I love my bike and I would love to keep it for a couple of years. All right, that's a little dramatic, dude. I know it's annoying, but I definitely don't think it's gonna cause a catastrophic failure. Somebody said, at the end of the day, it's a Honda. Exactly. All right, so that's it for the Reddit post. On Thumper Talk, I think somebody was talking about it. And yes, this was with the 250L Rally. So I'd actually never heard of this back when I had my 250L. I've had it for 4 years now. As we all know, the engine is shared with the CBR, the CRFL, and the CRFL Rally. There are thousands of people and many threads dedicated to it. Okay, so this guy actually breaks down what he thinks it is and the percentages that go along with them. Damn. I did hear somebody talk about this, the pair valve, remove the internals, cap it off, and the rattle is gone. Say hello to the 7 to 12K rattle now. I'm not sure about that. Let's see what other people are saying. Yeah, right here, 1972 Redneck says, well, my pair valve is capped, but it still rattles like an SOB around 5K under light load. Exactly, so I wouldn't go jumping into things and doing things that aren't really necessary. 30% blame is the 4-stroke valve train. It's a thumper. I would agree with that 100%. Yes, and this is what I talked about earlier. The muffling is too good. The muffler is quiet, almost feels electric. I've heard about how much you hear on the Alta MX bikes due to no engine sound. They say you can hear every chassis flex landing and even dirt hitting underneath the fenders. Same effect, no exhaust sound. I can hear my engine in greater detail. Talks about fairings, talks about the market. Yes, this is what I mentioned earlier, guys. This is not a premium bike. I like this guy. I was a little skeptical at first, but every point that he made is pretty good. Minus the pair valve. I don't know enough about it to give my thoughts. The stock skid plate was where my rattle was at. We do not have factory skid plates on the 300L, so we can rule that out. Moving on to the next. This is a YouTube video where the guy talks about it. And dealerships, they say almost all Hondas are doing it. Scoot Tools replied, said, depends on what kind of noise coming from what location. The most common engine noises are the cam chain tensioner, the valve chatter, which is very evident on the 300L, and the pair systems on some models. The valve noise is normal, etc., etc. Once again, with the exhaust, it's super quiet, so you're gonna hear more of the engine components working. All right, moving on. This is the ADV Rider forum post. I don't really like how this forum is organized. It's just kind of a huge comment thread with information jumbled amongst the thread. Sounded like the clutch side. It didn't worry me. Likewise, you should hear my FC09 clutch rattle. Exactly, guys. So all bikes make different noises. I don't think this is one to be alarmed with. I do like the pipe stands. I've seen a lot of people do this. Drop a comment if you'd like to see me throw one of these together and give my thoughts on it. I mean, that's definitely a super cheap and solid way to support the bike. Okay, so this guy says he's put some miles on his, or kilometers, and it isn't getting any quieter. Well, it goes away once you get past that RPM range. There you go. Once again, somebody talking about the clutch lever, somebody talking about their Africa Twin rattling. So a lot of people with different bikes talking about noises that they hear and that bother them. This is a CBR forum with somebody talking about the rattle. This one was around 8,000 RPM. I don't want to get too far off topic here, but same engine. But as you can see, this is a widespread topic of conversation with different bikes. Engines make noises. I think a lot of it has to do with the exhaust. I would like to hear somebody else's bike that is complaining about this and see how loud it actually is compared to what mine was. I feel like some people over-exaggerate things, or maybe not. Maybe it's terrible. I would like to think that if it was terrible, Honda would do something about it. So I think that's really it as far as the forum posts. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the 5K rattle. It's not something that I'm worried about. It's not something that I think you should worry about. You gotta think, guys, this is not a new engine. This has been around since like 2013, 2014 with the CRF300. It's essentially the same engine, just different mapping and gearing. So if this was a detrimental issue, I think we would have heard a lot more about it by now. I think it's definitely something that Honda would have addressed, especially since they're willing to address something as silly as a license plate bracket. If anybody has had any issues directly related to this, drop a comment comment down below. I'm sure this video will generate some views, so just use the comment section as a forum. But it seems to be a lot of speculation. I'm getting a lot of mixed information. I'm not 100%, but for me, I'm pretty sure it was coming from the engine. Like, I know I mentioned about the clutch rattle, but I do think there was something coming from the engine in the early stages of me owning the bike. But I'm still gonna ride it, enjoy it. I don't know that the bike will ever see 10,000 miles, unfortunately. I just don't get out there as much as I'd like to. But I do have some dual sport trips in the making, so we'll definitely get a few thousand miles racked up in the next year or so. But if you are new, consider subscribing down below. I would really appreciate it. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video or this helped you at all. We upload 3 days a week here at Adventure Daily, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Turn the notifications on so you don't miss out. All of my important links will be down in the description below. I'm gonna quit rambling. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your week, and until the next video, we'll see you then.